Welcome back to Access All Areas. Damien Barrett and I, joined by Dr. Peter Larkins. Hello, Doc.
Morning, Darcy.
We need to talk concussions again, and Kurt Tippett is the man who is at the centre of all of it this weekend.
We've talked about it so many times this year. 3 concussions, round 12, round 15, round 17. Now, I'd put it to you that collision with Beau Waters would cause concussion in someone who had no concussions earlier on in the year. So the actual mechanism isn't surprising. It wasn't like nothing happened. He got a very minor period of time when he was dazed. He was always conscious. He's speaking to the doctors there. But the issue, Darcy, is he's had 3 concussions in a 5-week period. He was subbed out. He passed every test possible before playing in this game. Hadn't missed any games prior to last week. He missed last week's game and then played. The previous one, he kicked 3 goals when he came back from the concussion. But this week, they're going to get a neurologist to see him. They're just trying to work out if there's something they can pick that's going to protect him. From the image point of view, I expect him to miss a game or 2 more now. Not because he's sick, because he was actually quite well afterwards. But it's really an unknown territory when you've got 3 so close together.
Doc, everyone's really worried now about the post-career litigation threat that is real in the NFL and will become real in the AFL. The AFL is going to get involved in this, though, isn't it? Tippett will not play again until they sign off on it.
To the AFL signs off? Well, I don't know that that's true. I mean, certainly the medical...
I'll put it to you that that's how it'll play out.
Well, I mean, if the AFL, if they're going to get medical input into the decision-making, Adelaide will welcome that. I mean, Adelaide don't feel they've had anything that they've done wrong. As I said, with all the conventional testing that's available that any player would get this week if they were concussed, Tippett has passed all of those. So they haven't played him suspiciously, but they don't want it to keep happening. We know there's an image issue. They want the health. As I said, we've got international cases, as you've alluded to. So the issue really is we can't measure the long-term effects of concussion yet. We can hope that there's not going to be, but a few of these cases make it. And it's been on the radar. As I said, the AFL is very much aware of it. So is Adelaide. And they'll do the right thing by Tippett.
How many weeks, Doc? How many weeks will he miss?
You can't say. I mean, look, he might be perfect by Wednesday. If he passes every conventional test, as he did prior to playing that game we just saw him get hurt again in, then you've got to say, why are we keeping him out now? If we've got no measurable reason to keep him out with this 2-hour neuropsych test done independently by the club, so the club doctor doesn't do this, this is done by COG State, like every AFL player has a scan. So if he passes all that, they've got to say, well, just keep you out just to get your confidence back, just to make you feel better about yourself, or just to make the image for the public point of view. I suspect they'll do that, whether it's 1 or whether it's 2. I can't imagine it being more time than that.
Damo, you're red hot on this. The image of the game is the main issue, isn't it? And the concerns, the unknown, is
no question. The unknown, because as I said, we can't measure whether someone's prone to depression, prone to get social behaviour issues when they retire, a la the cases that the NFL has come up with. So what we're trying to say is we know that concussion's a big part of our sport, 5 or 6 per club per season. We know that 50% used to miss, now 90% are missing the following week. That's just statistics show that. So we're going to get 90 concussions this year. But the question is what's happening over the career. And 3 in a season was a bit of unknown territory. There's no doubt that Tippett will be treated very, very carefully, but he has had no reason. If that had been a normal concussion case, he'd be playing this week, but he probably won't play this week for the reasons we've just said.
And Damo, it was Beau Waters with a head clash there. Are you trying to compare that to the Aaron Joseph and Jack Zeeble one from the week before?
Not at all, Das. Just have a look at the incidents here. This is Zeeble again. If anyone hasn't seen it, have a look again. Now, the reason I want to talk about this, though, Das, is this was deemed to be an accident, albeit very different to what we're about to see and have seen already with Tippett and Waters. But I don't know whether the match review panel, and in this case the Tribunal, can have it both ways, Das. I don't think you can concede that was partially an accident and then also totally cleared by Waters, which I expect him to do, and I actually hope he is totally cleared of his hit on Tippett. Now, a reason I ask this, Das, and I want you to say, did Beau Waters have an alternative? Yes, he did. He could have smothered this ball. He could have gone lower on Tippett. Now, I don't want him to get suspended, but I just want to make the point. The match review panel can't have it both ways.
Well, they should have it both ways, Damo, and they should apologise for the Zeeble suspension. They got that
wrong. Well, that's my
point. And they got this one.
That's actually my bigger
correct.
point.
Okay, we've gone backwards.
I would hope nothing comes out of that from Beau Waters.
But accidental head clash, Damo, is the Beau Waters one.
But how do you
accidental head clash is the first one too, as far as I'm concerned.
Zeeble's missing 4 weeks to us on the same basis.
I reckon it's one of the worst decisions of the year. Absolutely. I think everyone in football that I know thinks that is a wrong decision. We hope they don't then overcorrect and keep paying them, Damo, if that's the way you're hoping to go.
Yeah, let's just get it right from the outset.
I agree with
Shane
you.
Mumford, Doc, had a back problem at the start of the year. What's up now?
Yeah, we had back surgery after an infected back, and this time, watch the contest, he lands on the left knee and just has an impact injury that causes his knee to get absolutely, it gets an impact or jarring injury. So they're just checking it. He's got bruising inside the knee from the scan, no ligament damage. He's walking around today without too much restriction, so they're going to watch him later in the week and just see if he comes up. So they're hoping, I mean, bone bruising can make you sore for a week, so he might miss the 1 week, Mumford, but the point is no surgery required, and in fact, he's a reasonable chance he'll get up by late in the week.
Steve Johnson, a groin problem from Friday night's game, had a scan. There's a little bit of talk, this is a little bit serious.
Yeah, look, we just, Stevie J's has this kick across the body. We're just going to see the actual mechanism where he kicks across the body, and the adductor is the inside groin. Just watch how much it swings across. This is the last incident where he actually feels it tighten up, and it's late in the third quarter. They took him off, and they did put ice on him and had a scan, and they said he really only has some minor concern, and they're hopefully he will get up. So, again, we saw Drew Petrie with a similar injury last week come up and kick 7 goals. So Stevie just, was walking around well yesterday. They haven't diagnosed a tear in it. So they're going to wait and see how he plays, and that'll be something they'll carefully look at. They wouldn't want to play him if he's not right to play.
Yep. Tell us about the young Port Adelaide player, Jarrad Pittard. I understand pretty severe broken ribs, is that correct?
Broken ribs and then some partially collapsed lung. It's his own teammate, Wingard, that takes him out with the knee goes into the underside of his left rib cage, Darcy. And of course, he had to drive back to Adelaide here because of the flying with the pressure in the cabin can create lung problems. So again, it's just, we talk about tough footy, Darcy. And so Pittard there, having got the slightly depressed lung in terms of the collapse, but it's more the fact the broken rib. And look, he'll be.
When I hear collapsed lung, though, Doc, I think that sounds really bad, but you often say it's not.
Well, if I tell you that the lung is the size of that, right? That's the entire lung, and it collapses down by that much. That's technically a collapsed lung in medical terms. So it's not like the whole bag is deflated and a balloon down to nothing. So there are various grades of it, and it will reinflate, but it could, as I said, a month out because of the ribs anyway.
Players are trying to do you out of a job, Doc. He tweeted on the way to hospital his own diagnosis. That's not good for your industry, Doc.
The technology's come into footy, as you know, so whether it's a scan that a player tweets out or he's in the ambulance and giving it out, I have to listen to them just to find out what they're doing.
My old mate, Sean Higgins, Doc, cannot take a trick.
Look, we love him as a player, and the right hamstring concern now, which is probably going to cost him a month of footy. Number 7, you see him chase there, and he just has to pull up when he feels the twing go in it. And, the player that knows straight away, we see him get in the foreground to the left there where he goes to chase Tom Bell, the debutant player there. And Sean, he's had troubles with the calf, he's had troubles with the ankle surgery. You see him sitting out there. The very quick conversation. Hamstrings these days, we've got a lot of respect for them when they're a tear. Month out for Sean.
Tiger, Dylan Grimes. Doc, how's he going over there in Europe?
Well, look, he's gone over to see Professor Woolfart, the guru that Maxi Rook went to see. We know that Mark Coughlin went over. So Richmond have sent him over to have some of the calves blood, to have the acupuncture, the massage. I mean, they're really investing in that. They talk about selling games and whether that was a costly thing for Richmond. They've actually got money to send players across. So he's had hamstring surgery last year, came back, did it again earlier this year, did it again 2 weeks ago. So he's just one of these people they're sending across for somewhat alternative treatment, but Richmond investing in Grimes because they think he's got good prospects.
What would that cost Richmond, just out of interest?
20,000.
20,000
for a week.
Worthwhile?
For a week. Well, the Maxi Rook got a flag out of it. He reckons it was worthwhile.
Good player, Dylan Grimes. Andrew Krakouer, we're hearing is a chance. Is that unrealistic?
I'm really surprised at this conversation, Das. I mean, he did it in February the 25th. It's actually 5 months. I heard an interview on the weekend where he said he was 7 months, but he's not 7 months. I mean, it's absolutely 5 months. It'll be 7 months grand final week. It's just so unknown territory to get players back playing in that 6 or 7 months. A very vulnerable time after ACL reconstruction surgery.
What about that low centre of gravity argument that Tony Liberatore
He's not built like Liberatore muscle-wise. He's low centre of gravity. Look at his agility. Look at his speed. I would say he's quicker than Libba and he's more agile than Libba. And so your cruciate ligament's so important for twist and change direction. At 6 months, it's almost at its weakest point in its recovery. And so I'm just a bit surprised at this conversation does. No concern about him running and doing drills, but gee, look, it's only 5 months, not 7 as reported.
You'd say no if you're Collingwood?
I would say no. Look, I think it's really important, given what Crack's been through, it's very important that he stay around the footy and be encouraged. But you'd hate to think, if he comes back and plays and it goes again because they're trying to get him up for the finals, it would just be devastating for the young boy.
Always funny when someone
29-year-old young boy.
29-year-old. Always funny when someone gets hit in the nuts, Doc.
I don't know why you say this is funny,
unless it's you,
this is Hayden Valentine. Maybe because it's Hayden Valentine. The ball, he just seems to take his eye off the ball here and he gets himself a bit exposed, not in the obscene sense, but in the pain sense. And every bloke who's been through this, Das, will know that it does bring tears to your eyes even watching it. And he's a tough nut, literally.
Any damage
but
done
let me
there,
say, there's damage can be done. And whilst he probably just got a little bit of soreness for a minute or two and take your breath away, Das, there are players who've ended up with significant bleeding, and even one particular well-known player ended up with a lacerated testicle out of a hit in the family jewels like that. So we don't like to see it at any time.
Could use the word groin too, Das, rather than what you did, I thought.
Let's cut straight to the chase, Damo. It's unfortunate, but it's pretty funny. Nice way to finish, Doc. Comprehensive as always. Nice to catch up with you, Damo. Look forward to Access All Areas on Friday. From us now, it's goodbye.